Look at your life right now. Look at your surroundings, your bank account, and the people you spend your time with. Do you think you were there by accident? Most people believe that life is something that happens to them. They believe they are victims of the economy, victims of their upbringing, or victims of bad luck. They spend their days wandering in a fog, hoping that one day, somehow, things will just get better. But hope is not a strategy. The truth is much more terrifying and much more beautiful. You are exactly where you are because that is exactly where you have chosen to be. Every thought you have allowed to take root in your mind has built the walls of the room you are sitting in right now. If you are failing, it is because you have programmed yourself for failure. If you are average, it is because you have accepted average thoughts. But here is the secret that the greats don't want you to know. The moment you realize that you are the architect of your own reality, you gain the power to tear it down and build a palace in its place. Success is not a matter of luck, it is a matter of law. And today, we are going to learn the law that governs the universe. Before the internet, before the gurus, and before the multi-million-dollar coaching industries, there was one voice that cut through the noise of the 20th century. It was a voice that rose from the poverty of the Great Depression and the fire of World War II. Imagine a man who stood on the deck of a sinking battleship at Pearl Harbor, watching the world explode around him and asking one simple question: why do some people succeed while others lose everything? He spent the next 20 years of his life obsessed with that question. He read every book, studied every philosophy, and interviewed every successful person he could find until he discovered a truth so simple yet so powerful that it changed the lives of millions. He didn't just teach success, he defined it for the modern age. He was the man who turned the science of the mind into a global phenomenon. This was Earl Nightingale, and he discovered what he called the strangest secret, a secret that can turn a beggar into a king if they are brave enough to believe it. To understand Earl Nightingale, you have to understand the hunger of a man who started with nothing. Born in 1921, Earl grew up in a tent city during the Great Depression. He saw his mother struggle to put food on the table. He saw men who had worked hard their whole lives lose their dignity in a matter of weeks. This trauma created a burning desire in him to understand the mechanics of wealth and happiness. He realized early on that hard work alone wasn't the answer, because the hardest working people he knew were often the poorest. After surviving the horrors of the Pacific Theater in the Marines, Earl landed a job in radio. He became a master of the microphone, but his true work was happening behind the scenes. He was a student of Napoleon Hill and a follower of the ancient Stoics. He was looking for the common thread that linked every great person in history. He looked at the data and found something shocking. Out of 100 people who start at age 25, by the time they are 65, only 5 are successful. Only 1 is rich. The other 95 fail. Why? Because they follow the crowd. They act like everyone else because they don't know where they are going. Why are you doing what you're doing? Seriously, stop and answer that. Most people do what they do because that's what everyone else is doing. They go to school because they're told to. They take a job they hate because they need to pay bills. They follow a path they didn't choose because they are afraid to stand out. Earl Nightingale called this conformity, the most dangerous trap in the world. We act like sheep following the person in front of us, only to realize too late that the person in front of us is just as lost as we are. If you want to be in the top 5%, you have to stop doing what the 95% are doing. You have to stop listening to the opinions of people who haven't achieved what you want to achieve.
Greatness requires the courage to be different. It requires the discipline to set a goal and move toward it while everyone else is wandering aimlessly. Are you a leader of your own life, or are you just another face in the crowd? The turning point for Earl came in 1956. He was asked to record a short message for a group of salesmen while he was away on vacation. He sat down and recorded a 20-minute talk titled The Strangest Secret. He didn't think it was a big deal, but when he came back, the record was a sensation. People were buying it by the thousands. It became the first spoken word record to go gold. Why? Because for the first time in history, the secret of success was condensed in 6 words. Earl told the world, "We become what we think about." He explained that our minds are like a garden. If you plant seeds of success, the mind must return success. If you plant seeds of confusion, the mind must return confusion. The mind doesn't care what you plant, it just returns what you give it. This was the birth of the personal development movement as we know it today. He proved that success is not something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. If you can control your mind, you can control your destiny.
Earl Nightingale didn't just want to tell people what to think. He wanted to show them how to use the mind as a precision tool. He often compared the human mind to a gold mine. A gold mine is neutral. It doesn't care if you dig out the gold or if you let it sit there buried under the dirt. The gold is yours, but only if you have the discipline to go down into the darkness and bring it to the surface. Most people, Earl observed, treat their minds like an old attic, a place where they store useless information, fears, and the opinions of others. They never realize that the mind is the only thing they truly own. He taught that everything we see in the physical world was once just an idea in a single mind. The skyscraper, the smartphone, the airplane, they all started as a thought before they became steel and glass. If you can hold the image of your goal in your mind with absolute clarity, it is only a matter of time before that image manifests in your physical reality. This is not magic, it is the law of cause and effect. You want the prize, but are you willing to pay the price? Everyone wants to be the person at the top of the mountain, but very few people actually want to do the climbing. We live in a world that is obsessed with instant results. We want the money now, the body now, and the success now. But Earl Nightingale warned that you cannot get something for nothing. Life is like a fireplace. You cannot ask it for heat until you have first put in the fuel. Your fuel is your discipline. Your fuel is the hours you spend working when no one is watching. If you are sitting around waiting for life to give you a break, you will be waiting until the day you die. The world doesn't owe you a living. It owes you nothing but an opportunity. Are you putting in the work required to earn the life you say you want, or are you just window shopping for a future you'll never own? To prove his theory, Earl developed what he called the 30-day test. It was a psychological challenge designed to break the chains of negative thinking forever. He told his listeners to take a small card and write down their single most important goal. Not 5 goals, not 10, just 1. On the other side of the card, he told them to write the words, "Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you." For 30 days, they were to carry that card everywhere. Every time they felt a doubt or a fear creep in, they were to replace it with the mental image of that goal already achieved. He knew that for the first week it would be easy, but by the second and third weeks, the old habits of the mind, the 95% mindset, would fight back. This test was a battle for the soul. He proved that if a human being can maintain a single, burning desire for 30 days without letting doubt extinguish the flame, the subconscious mind will find a way to make it happen. It begins to see opportunities that were always there but were previously invisible.
The beauty of the 30-day test was its simplicity. Earl understood that the human brain is a goal-seeking mechanism. Just like a heat-seeking missile, it needs a target. If you don't give it a target, it will spin in circles until it runs out of fuel. But when you lock on to a specific destination, the brain's reticular activating system begins to filter the world differently. You start meeting the right people, you start reading the right books, you start having the right ideas at 3 a.m. Earl wasn't just talking about positive thinking, he was talking about direction. He famously said, "Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal." This means that you are successful the moment you choose a goal and start moving towards it. You don't have to wait until you have the money to be a success. If you are a teacher and you are teaching because that is what you wanted to do, you are a success. If you are an entrepreneur building a business from your garage, you are a success. Success is the journey, not just the trophy at the end. Take a look in the mirror. What you see is a reflection of your past thoughts. If you don't like what you see, don't blame the mirror, change the thoughts. Most people spend their lives trying to change their results without ever changing their causes. They want a different life, but they keep the same mind. It's like trying to get a different harvest while planting the same dead seeds. Earl Nightingale's greatest lesson was that you are currently being paid exactly what you believe you are worth. Your relationships are a reflection of how you treat yourself. Your health is a reflection of your respect for your body. If you want a bigger life, you must first become a bigger person. You must grow on the inside before you can see the growth on the outside. Are you willing to kill the old version of yourself so that the new version can finally breathe? As the 1960s and 70s rolled on, Earl Nightingale became more than just a radio personality. He became a lighthouse for a generation lost in the chaos of a changing world. He co-founded the Nightingale Conant Corporation, the first organization of its kind dedicated entirely to the development of the human spirit through audio. He realized that the average person spends hours every day commuting, working, or performing menial tasks, time that is usually wasted. He called this Automobile University. He believed that if you listened to the right ideas while you moved through your day, you could get a world-class education in just a few years. He was the first to realize that the ears are the gateway to the subconscious. While others used radio to spread fear or entertainment, Earl used it to plant the seeds of greatness. He wasn't just selling motivation, he was selling a new way of being. He understood that the greatest threat to a human being isn't failure. It is the slow, silent death of a life lived without purpose. What are you waiting for? A sign from the universe? A perfect day when all your problems disappear? Earl Nightingale once said that the most common tragedy is the man who reaches the end of his life only to realize he never truly lived. He only existed. He played it safe. He avoided the risks. He stayed in the shallow end of the pool because he was afraid of the depths. But the depths are where the gold is. The graveyard is the wealthiest place on earth because it is filled with books that were never written, businesses that were never started, and dreams that were never chased. Don't add your potential to that pile. You have a finite amount of time on this planet. Every sunset is one less opportunity to make your mark. Are you going to spend your remaining days getting by, or are you going to finally step into the arena and see what you are truly made of? In his later years, Earl retired to the quiet beauty of the Pacific, but his mind never stopped working. He became obsessed with the idea of the creative life. He argued that we are never more alive than when we are in the act of creation, whether we are building a company, raising a family, or crafting a piece of art. He believed that the universe itself is an act of ongoing creation, and when we create, we align ourselves with the highest power in existence. When he passed away in 1989, he didn't leave behind a kingdom of gold or a trail of conquered enemies like Khalid ibn al-Walid. Instead, he left behind something more durable, a blueprint for the human mind. He left millions of people who finally understood that they weren't victims of fate. He proved that the strangest secret wasn't actually a secret at all. It was a law, as reliable as gravity and as constant as the stars. He died knowing that his voice would continue to echo in the ears of anyone who was tired of being average. Today is the day the fog clears. You have heard the words of the Dean of Personal Development. You have the secret. Now the question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to click off this video and go back to your old thoughts? Or are you going to take the 30-day test? Are you going to carry that card? Are you going to protect your mind like a fortress? Your life is a masterpiece in progress, and you are holding the brush. Stop letting the world tell you what to paint. Stop letting your past dictate your future. You are the architect. You are the commander. You are the sword. You become what you think about. So for the love of everything that is great, start thinking like a giant. The world is waiting for your empire. Go out and build it. This concludes Chapter 9 of The World of Greats. Earl Nightingale taught us that our environment is a mirror of our minds. If you're ready to clean that mirror and see a bigger future, then you belong here with us. Subscribe to join this community of architects and warriors. Chapter 10 is coming, and it will change everything. Comment the words, "I am the architect," if you are taking the 30-day test starting today. Share this video. There is someone in your life who is conforming to a life they hate. Send them this and wake them up. We become what we think about, so think big. We'll see you in the next chapter.